So today is the second day of Annemarie Strawhand's fast that she's doing with her group, her tribe, her people. And I'm doing it because right before she even announced it, I told my husband that I was going to do this diet plan thing that it's called like the 21-day diet or something, and or the 21-day meal plan or something like that. And I had bought it off of like this website because of this Instagram post from this lady that this girl, I started following her because she inspired me so much that she had lost so much weight, and in a year's time, it just clicked with me when I saw her before and afters, and that, you know, I just could do it because she had more weight to lose than I did. And so I had been wanting to start this plan, you know, for like the last couple weeks. And finally, when Annemarie said that she was doing this, because I had just told my husband I was going to do it, the 21-day meal plan thing, I was finally going to do it. But I told him, I didn't tell anybody this till now, but I told him I was going to do it for 90 days. Because I just felt like the first 90 days, I just wanted to hit 2019 hard, and the first 90 days just really, you know, go after the things that are in my heart to do. And then, you know, just get over that first 90 days and just hit it hard. I don't know. That's just what was in my heart. So when she said that she was doing a 21-day fast, I was like, oh, okay. Well, it would be cool to be able to do it with, you know, somebody else, because there's always strength in numbers. So I started it, and I started it when they started, and they started on the 7th, which is Monday, and it's the second day. At first I was like, this is nothing, you know, and then today I'm really realizing how much I really lean on and use caffeine as my fuel for my body, and it's not good. I've been pretty cranky today, but I mean, I think I'm doing pretty good. I found a couple old tea bags of green tea, which has a little teeny bit of caffeine, but anybody that's ever had green tea, it's not coffee. And I mean, I'm not like, I didn't consider myself a huge coffee addict, but oh gosh, especially if you stay up late. And my 3-year-old daughter Hope has been keeping me up. I mean, I try to go to bed early a couple times in the last week, and she wakes up almost like clockwork at like 2:30, and just throughout the night crying. And you know, I was thinking, well, she's just, you know, peeing in her diaper or whatever, and it's bothering her. But she would wake up, and she started acting like, especially in the last several days, acting like she was fighting something in her sleep. She's not even awake. She's just like trying to hit something, yelling no, 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 screaming. Just, oh gosh, my blood pressure rises whenever I hear her doing that. But anyway, so last night she did it again, and I went up there, and like I do every night, and this just started, it's been going on for a couple weeks now. She was sick, so, you know, I chalked it up to that too. She had been sick. She would get feverish at night, and I went upstairs, and she was like screaming no at something, but she was still asleep. And I laid my hands on her, and I just, felt her, and she was hot. She was sweaty, like really sweaty. And but she wasn't wearing anything like really heavy, so there wasn't really a reason for her to be sweaty. And I just started petting her hair and telling her, trying to calm her down, talk to her and say, "What's wrong, Hope?" And she was like, "No." And then I just was like, I really was feeling like this is a supernatural thing. This is not normal. It's not natural. There's something going on here. So I started praying over her in the spirit, and I was like, whatever this evil thing is that's doing this, whatever, if it's a spirit of sickness, if it's I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I tell it to leave now in the name of Jesus. And I just started praying in the spirit, and like I was petting her hair, trying to calm her down. And then I just started singing Psalm 103 over her. And I was just like, because I was thinking, David, he is the writer of Psalm 103. He used to sing to Saul, and evil spirits would leave. So if there's an evil spirit, you know what I mean? If not, just a soothing song will sometimes help put somebody to sleep too. So I started singing to her, singing over her. And I was just singing Psalm 103, because that's a big theme for me right now. And bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all of his benefits. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, his benefits. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits, his benefits. Who forgiveth all my iniquities, who healeth all my diseases, who redeemeth my life from destruction, who crowneth thee with loving kindness and tender mercies, who satisfies my mouth with good. My youth is renewed like the eagles. And I just kept singing, like, as much as I could remember, like, and I even, like, I was like, okay, I can't remember, I have almost all of it memorized, but I couldn't remember at one point, and so I stopped, looked it up, and I sang the rest of the song, everything, over her. And by the end of it, she was fast asleep, and she was not hot anymore or sweaty. Weird. And like I touched her, and she was cool to the touch. She wasn't sweaty anymore. And I just put her blankets up, over her. She's wearing a little nightgown. And put her blankets up around her and left. And she didn't wake up, didn't cry again for the rest of the night until she slept till the morning. She came in and woke me up and was like, "Hi, Mommy." And in the morning, she's so cute. And when I got back in bed, after I went back down, I opened up this book that I just got from Jeanette Strauss. I actually got this for my mom, but then I started reading it. I was gonna go through it with my mom. It's called Redeem Your Home, and Annemarie Strawhand is the one that recommended this. And I started reading it, and it was just so fascinating. And I was just like, she was talking about cleansing her home, and she's like, you just go around, you walk around, and you ask God, is there anything here, God, that is not pleasing to you, or that might have something connected to it, And maybe that sounds weird to somebody, but I'm telling you, when you have a lack of sleep and you're tired and your child is acting strange in the nighttime, and not only that, that's not the only thing that happened that night either. I had been singing and playing my guitar. I was about to record. I was in the bathroom. I know that's lame, but I didn't want to wake my husband up or the baby. And sometimes in the past, I've gone in there and recorded stuff because it's a small space, it's quiet, and it's, it's just what I had at the time. I didn't want to go across the house into the craft room. It's very echoey in here. Not good really for recording, but I went in the bathroom and I was going to record, and I had all my stuff out. Even had my computer in there. And I was about to record a couple different times, and I kept stopping, because I wanted to make sure that everything was in the right spot as well as I could in the bathroom. And I had my guitar out and everything. I started to record. All of a sudden, I hear somebody outside the door. Like, I hear somebody walk down the hallway and outside the door. And I'm like, oh, man. Justin's up, and I just like scrambled, put everything up, because I was like, he's gonna be mad that I'm still up. He's gonna say, why aren't you in bed? And and I should be already in bed, but anyway, so I put all my stuff, got all my stuff together, and got out of there real quick, and I look around and there's nobody outside the door. And I asked Justin, I'm like, later, the next morning, I asked him, did he get up in the night and I was in the bathroom and he was going to use the bathroom? And he was like, no. And I was like, weird. Anyway, I've also just felt kind of uneasy. And that's one of the things that she said in here. Just have to feel, if you feel uneasy. And when I was going, after I prayed over Hope, I walked through the house. And I was like, God, what is it? What's in here? Where's the doorway? You know what I mean? And I look, I go into the playroom, and right there on the couch, there's a whole line of these puppets that the children had borrowed from the puppet ministry from church. And God had been telling me, he's been showing me puppets lately. And just, like, I didn't think there's anything wrong with puppets. And if you're in a puppet ministry, whatever. But I'm just telling you, you don't know what has happened with certain things, where they came from, what's going on with them. And I'm just saying, I was going to help out at the puppet ministry with the church we have been attending. And God just started really, I prayed about it. I'm like, I prayed about it more than even a few times. We were praying about it a lot. And I was like, God, I don't want to get roped into something that I'm not supposed to be doing. Give me wisdom. And, I was just going to go along with it because the kids want to do it. But then, God, I shared it with some friends, and they mentioned that they didn't feel good about, when I mentioned it to them, they didn't feel good about it. And I was like, okay. And my husband had been saying he did not feel good about it. He was getting really stressed out about it. And, we chalked it up to, it's Christmas time, it's the holidays, we're stressed out. But, and I was just like, hey, whatever, I was just trying to be obedient and be usable and be, helpful and get plugged in or something. I don't know. I was just trying to not be a jerk and, not let my kids do stuff. So, anyway, I was like, okay, I prayed about it, and if some of my friends that I trust, they're not feeling good about it, my husband's feeling super stressed out anytime we even mention it. He's not feeling good about it. I'm just going to be like, hey, we're not supposed to be doing this. I'm like, God, I don't know why. What's wrong with this? And he started showing me puppets. I mean, I just started seeing them a lot. And now I keep seeing more and more puppets. And when he's showing me puppets in these movies and stuff like that, and these music videos and things like that, it's in a very bad light. Like, puppets are not a good thing when it comes to ministry. What they represent is not good. And I saw, and my husband, because I mentioned, I was like, boy, God's been showing me puppets lately. It was like opening the floodgates when I asked him about puppets and what's wrong with them. And then he's like, I thought of you today, and I saw this video, and he showed me this music video, and it was about this, and it's funny because I'd just been thinking that day, I bet it's good. It's easier for, some of these music singer-songwriters, musicians, performers to just have a record label come and brand them and be like, here, let me show you how to do that. And they brand them and they help them get started. They help them share. I think we tend to hear a lot of like negative stuff about the music executives and the people in the music industry and how they're, they take their creative freedom away from the artists and they're all about money and all that. And I was like, but in a certain way, they kind of, they have all these connections. They can get you all set up. They can help you rebrand, whatever yourself. And so I was just thinking, that's worth something, for a person that's trying to just do it all themselves, But then that same night, Justin showed me this video, and it was this guy, I guess he made a comeback, I don't know, and he's singing this song about, I can't remember even what the song was. It was really catchy. It was a really good song. But I was just so caught up in the music video, because in the music video, he's a puppet version of himself. And sometimes he would look in the mirror and it would be himself and he'd smack himself. and then he shows these big music executives turning, at first he's himself and they turn him into a puppet. And they give him these drugs and he gets really low and he's, he goes to all these parties and he's just a puppet. And then he gets back on the stage towards the end and he's made a comeback and he's himself again. And then all of a sudden at the very end of the song, gives me chills. All of a sudden this music executive I can't remember exactly, but it's like the music executive grabs him and just throws him to the side, and you see him and there's just this big pile of puppets, and he flies on the top and he's just laying there it's just a puppet. They threw him to the side again at the end, and I was just like, ooh. Okay, never mind, Apparently music executives retain their infamous labels of, heartless. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just saying that's an artist's interpretation of his own experience. Anyways, so, and that's not the only puppet thing. The movie that God was speaking to me about puppets, I was sitting in this movie watching it with Justin, and I was just like, man, whew. And it's like all of a sudden it's just like, that's why puppets are not, that's not God. like what God's showing me about puppets. I'm not saying puppet ministry is bad. It's just something God's showing me. Like in this movie, it's Miss Peregrine's School for Unusual Children. There's this kid who his special power is that he can make things. He can animate things that are not actually alive. So he can like you create all these weird like monstrosities and make them fight each other. And he would keep all these little hearts in these containers or jars, and he would take them out and put them in his creations, which was just like a doll's head with that was like sewn onto this like robot squid like thing, and it would fight this other thing, like these two robots would fight. But during the movie, in this movie, towards the middle of the movie, he doesn't like this newcomer guy, which the movie's all about this kid who thinks he doesn't have any powers. And his power is that he can see these monsters that nobody else can see. And the monsters they're trying to eat the eyes out of the kids because that's what they eat. I don't know, it's really gross. Weird movie. But I mean, when I got past that, I was just like, okay, is God speaking something to me? And this is what I got out of it. This kid, he's looking for answers. He's trying to help because there's these monster things. And he's trying to find information. And so he's there at this school for unusual children. He thinks he's not unusual, but he is. He can see the monsters. He just doesn't know yet. Anyway, this other kid, he had been there for a while. He didn't like this new kid coming on the scene because of this girl that liked him. And so he's going to scare him off. And so what he does is, one of the monsters had come and killed one of the students there. So this kid's up in the top room, the attic, I guess, and he's laying in his bed with these sheets around it. And they go in. He's like, "Do you want to talk to so and so upstairs?" And the kid's like wanting information. So he's like, "Yeah, I'll talk to him." And he's like, "Okay." So he takes him up there, and all the other kids are like, "Don't go up there. He's trying to scare you. Don't go up there." And he's like, "I want to talk to this kid that's upstairs." And they're like, "No, you don't." And he's like, "Yeah, I do." And they're like, "Okay." So he goes upstairs with this other creepy kid who's got the puppet skills. And the kid's laying on this bed, and the one that's dead. And the kid with the puppet skills takes this little heart out, and he puts it into the kid that's laying on the bed. That kid is dead. His eyeballs had gotten sucked out, so he's laying there with no eyeballs. And the other kid, the other one that's looking for answers, he's like, "So-and-so, can I talk to you? I need to talk to you. Will you speak to me?" And all of a sudden the kid like sits up on the bed, and he turns his head at him, and he's like, "Yes, what would you like to talk about?" And like, it looks like he's a puppet, he's not alive, he's dead, and he has no eyes, and it's very, it was gross. But right then I realized what was wrong with puppets. Puppets are not alive. They rely on somebody controlling them to make them appear alive. They have an appearance. They're not alive. And anyway, I was telling all this to my mom, and she was like, that's funny because your grandfather hated puppets. She's like, we used to watch Howdy Doody, and we didn't think there's anything wrong with puppets, but he hated them. And he was always like, "Please don't watch that. Turn it off, please. I hate puppets." So I thought that was really interesting. So puppets they're not good.